What's up, y'all? I'm back with another video, and as the title says, I'm here to do a ranking of all Spider-Man shows from the worst to the best, from the 67 series to the current series, Marvel Spider-Man, to see which one is the best and which one is the worst. Now, let's begin. Now, for the worst, let's start with the complete obvious Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh, God, what was wrong with this series? Actually, I think the question should be, what wasn't wrong with this series? I mean, I didn't finish the whole thing all the way through, nor did I want to. I only saw uh, a few episodes of it when it first aired, and I was like, okay, that's enough. Turn this crap off, cancel it. And you know what's ridiculous is that this is the worst Spider-Man show, but it lasted the longest. I mean, all the other ones got canceled, got canceled way too early, like the animated series and Spectacular, which was extremely stupid. And this series had a lot of problems, like way too many team ups. They put him in a. They gave him in the first episode. They gave him all these gadgets that he doesn't even need, and he doesn't use after that. And they just did that for marketing purposes, just to sell toys. And his supporting cast members like J. Jonah, Mary Jane, Aunt May aren't even in there. And when they are, they hardly do anything. They're not as important as they were in the animated series or the new animated series or Spectacular or anything. And God, uh, I'm trying to find what else was wrong with the series. Drake Bell wasn't really a good Spider-Man. He wasn't a good fit just because nothing wrong with Drake Bell, but he just had very bad dialogue, and the jokes, the one-liners were really, really cringy. They were not funny at all. They were just like, oh God, did he really just say that? It felt more like a Deadpool show than a Spider-Man show because of the breaking the fourth wall crap and the corny jokes and stuff like that. It just didn't work. The only time Drake Bell came off as the only time I actually enjoyed Drake Bell as Spider-Man is when he did guest appearances in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and that's because they had good people, great producers working on that series. And as far as the other one, as this one, not so much. On to the next series, Marvel's Spider-Man, which is the current Spider-Man series. If you didn't know, if you don't watch it, it's fine because there isn't really a lot of good things about this series either. It's better than Ultimate, but then again, that's not saying that much. There's a lot of problems with this series as well. Let's run through the list, shall we? Let's see. There's multiple Spider-Mans, which don't make sense. Miles doesn't even do anything. If I was in charge of the show, I would have Miles' role be like how it was in the video game that came out last year. I would have his role be something like that. And the third the third Spider-Man is a female, which doesn't make any sense because apparently she kept her powers from the Spider Island thing, and I'm gonna get into that later. But she kept her powers from the Spider Island thing, and which doesn't make any sense because if that was true, then where have you been the whole time? Like, where was you at? Another problem is that most of his villains are the same age as him, which is also really dumb and whatever. Next, the Spider Island thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch that trilogy arc of episodes. It's just stupid. Everyone in the whole city gets Spider-Man superpowers, which is really dumb. Another issue with it, recycling past Spider-Man storylines. They tried to recycle that whole Goblin twist into that Goblin twist from Spectacular Spider-Man onto this show, and even I knew that was going to happen before it even happened. So it wasn't even a surprise. So it was just lazy on their part to take someone's idea and put it in their show. And finally, reusing, um, well, the whole show is just predictable. You all know what's gonna happen before it happens. They did a 4 episode arc of Doc Ock, which was stupid. We all knew he was gonna turn evil. You could do that in 1 episode, which was just stupid. Excuse me. And he gathered like a league of villains or whatever to take down Spider-Man or something like that. I forgot what it was about. And everyone was wondering who the big baddie was. I thought it was going to be Tombstone or Kingpin or something like that. But when I looked closely and I was like, oh, that's Doc Ock. And when it was finally revealed it was him, it wasn't a surprise. A lot of this show is predictable. So I'm not excited about the next series. I'm not excited when it comes back on. I'll still watch it to see what happens next, but I'm not thrilled at all. Next series, 1967 series. Okay, this series was the first series that introduced the "Here Comes the Spider-Man" theme song, which has come very iconic in the Spider-Man world, if you weren't aware. And they even sing that. They even do a little version of that in the Simpsons movie with the Spider Pig theme song.
How did the pig tracks get on the ceiling?
Spider Pig, does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig.
And this is and this series is fairly okay for nostalgia reasons. Like I said, this series is fairly okay for nostalgia reasons, but however, it's kind of boring because they don't. Not only is the fight sequences not that good, but they don't have. Since they didn't build up their history a lot, they were just starting to make the Spider-Man comics. So they didn't. In this show, they just have Spider-Man, J. Jonah, and Betty, and also Aunt May, but they don't have Harry, Flash, Mary Jane, Gwen, none of them at all. So, if you want to watch it, go ahead, for nostalgia reasons, go ahead. But I think it's kind of boring. But this show just paved the way for better Spider-Man shows. I'll just say that. On to the next one, Spider-Man Unlimited. Actually, no, Spider-Man, the new animated series. Oh God, Spider-Man, the new animated series. This was a rough one, man. And let's see, the animation was complete garbage. It was the first Spider-Man CGI show, and it did not hold up well at all. What I do like about this show, though, is that it has more adult content. It has more like sex references and stuff. They actually were allowed to use bullets. Bullets actually came out the gun when you fired them instead of using lasers like they did in the animated series because it was censored so much. They were actually allowed to mention death and a bunch of stuff. So I like that aspect of the show. But when I watch the show, it feels like I'm playing an old crappy version of a PlayStation or Xbox video game. or GameCube. So for that reason, the show that when it comes to the show animation is probably the worst. And let's see, and the ending is really sad too. But other than that, I mean, if you're into CGI shows, give it a try. I'm not into it. Didn't like it, but whatever. On to the next Spider-Man series, Spider-Man Unlimited. Now this series, this series gets a lot of flack. I don't know why personally. I didn't think it was that bad. It had a lot of potential, but the problem was that they were airing Digimon and Pokemon at the time, and those two shows were super, super popular, and it kind of just faded in the back. Spider-Man Unlimited just kind of faded in the background while those two shows were airing. And this series, when I read for Spider-Man, the new animated series, I said when I watched it, it felt like I was playing a crappy version of a old school GameCube or Xbox or PlayStation video game. When I watched this series, just like I watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when I watched both of those, it felt like I was reading a comic book, and that was the best experience like ever. If I actually feel like I'm in the story, like reading it as if the book was in my hand, that's pretty good. So this series gets an up for me. It had a lot of growth. It could have grown into a lot better if it gotten the second season. But you know what happens. On to the next one. 81 series. The 81 series. Now, my expectations for this series were low. Going into this, I didn't really expect much, but within the first few minutes of the first episode, I was hooked. Like after this series is when Spider-Man started to pick up. Like when this series aired, that's when Spider-Man started to pick up and quality started to get better in the episodes and fight sequences and stuff like that. And yeah, this is a okay series. Next, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I would say, I'm not sure if this is a sequel to the 81 series or not. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. I don't know. It's confusing. I'm not really a fan of the whole Spider-Man being in a group thing myself, like I said. But in this show, they did a lot better than they did in the Ultimate. And the teamwork, I guess you could say the chemistry between all three characters worked really well, and it's probably one of the best Spider-Man. What am I trying to say? If I were to put Spider-Man in a group, I would put him with those two characters. Aside from Fantastic Four as well. I mean, that's really good. That's really great too. But this series was a lot better than I thought it'd be. It was pretty good. On to the next, of course, you know, Spider-Man, the new animated series. This series, now remember that this series was airing on Fox Kids during the 90s. So they censored out a lot. They can't use guns. They can't use bullets. They had to use lasers. They can't mention death and a bunch of other crap. They couldn't even punch a kid in the episode, which was stupid. I mean, they did a couple times, but you have to pay attention, like real close attention to it. And sorry guys, I have allergies. And I think one of the most annoying things about this series is that I did not like at all. I hated the Morbius arc that went on for like 4 or 5 episodes. I'm like, my God, is there an end to this crap? It was just annoying. And just when you thought it was going to end, it continued for another episode, then another, then another, then another. It just got so annoying. And another thing that really sucked, that irritated me, was that Mary Jane clone arc thing. That really pissed me off. I know it's been like 20-something years, but I'm still pissed off about that. I'm not happy at all. You know, I hold grudges. I'm not letting that go. Whoever wrote that should be slapped in the face. And yeah, that's all I have to say. But this series is one of the very best, and also has one of the best theme songs. Well, second best theme songs, I should say. But nonetheless, it is still very great. And finally, we have been waiting once and for all for the best Spider-Man series of all times. And what is that? That is Spectacular Spider-Man. Yes, I know it only had 2 seasons, but that does not matter because, oh my God, my cousin introduced me into this show. I wasn't watching it when it was airing because I was watching other stuff, but when he introduced me to this show, I was like, oh my God, I have been living under a rock. This is freaking incredible. The reason it got canceled, so stupid. Sony is so selfish. I hope Marvel gets the rights back so they can bring the show back and cancel Marvel's Spider-Man, because I don't really care about that show. I don't think anybody cares about that show. And this series has the best, not only fight scenes, the best villains. The way the villains get their names are so unique in this series and fun. And the one-liners are also hilarious. Like, I can't give an example. Oh, like when Spider-Man threw a traffic cone on Rhino's head. He was like, "Hey, I got the thing on the thing. What do I win?" He was like, "You." He was like, "Me? I win me?" That makes no sense. And also this series has one of the best theme songs in Spider-Man history.
Surprise arriving in the theater.
Can you not love that? I mean, I think that's all that's need to be said. I hope you guys agree with me on my list. Don't forget to leave your rankings in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what is your rankings on the shows from worst to best. You better not put Ultimate higher than animated series or Spectacular. I know that if you are, stay out my comment section. But like I said, peace, love, happiness, and I'll see you guys next time.